Bless you. Mayor Pro Tem, we're live.
Okay.
6:59.
Thanks, Dave. Hey, good evening and welcome to the regular meeting of the Helotes City Council. It's 14 November 2024 and we're starting at 7 p.m. So first we're going to do a call order. We're going to do an invocation, which will be led by Council Member Jen Sones, and then we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance. So everyone could rise.
Please join me in prayer. Dear God, I thank you for our mayor, council, city staff, and citizens. May you bless and protect us. Thank you for all the freedoms and blessings that we enjoy here in the United States and in Texas and in Helotes. Lord, I'd ask tonight that you'd give special comfort to those who have suffered loss and are grieving in our community. May they be comforted by your peace, a supernatural peace that passes all understanding. And Lord, finally ask that you'd help us, the council, to make wise and good decisions that are in the best interests of our city and our citizens and community. Lord, we pray this in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you, Council Member Sones. Appreciate that. So is there anybody here? We're moving on to the recognition part of today's agenda. Is there anybody here from the Veterans of Foreign War Post 7108? Okay. We had a proclamation we were going to present to them. So we'll go ahead and move on to the next agenda item, which is citizens to be heard. And we have one person signed up to speak, and I've already talked to the individual and he said I can call him Nathan since I'm so bad pronouncing his name, and I do apologize. I do apologize for that. So Nathan, sir, if you can come up to the podium, and you have 3 minutes to speak about whatever it is you want to speak. Give us your name and your address. And we can't interact with you, but we are listening. We are receiving. Okay. Go ahead.
Did you say Nathan? Oh, just say.
My name is Mahesh Vishwanathan.
Well, I was going to ask you to pick up the mic. There you go.
I go by Mahesh Vishwanathan.
Yeah, I thought you said I could call you Nathan.
Yes.
Thank you.
So I think
because I butchered your name so bad. I apologize.
Good evening, Councilman and of City of Helotes. Thanks for this opportunity for inviting myself and my community leaders. We are here to invite all of you and the families living around Helotes to the event. For the first time, we are going to conduct a Helotes City Diwali. It's being conducted at the Helotes Festival Grounds. It's a celebration of unity, where it's being celebrated across India among Hindus, Jainism, Punjabis. It's a unification of a celebration where good wins over evil. So where we're going to have a cultural fest of multilingual cultural fest, where we're going to have like different displays of cultural activities from kids to different states of Indian cultural performance. And on behalf of that, like a lot of our community leaders whom you see behind us, they're here to come and to invite all the council members, and as well as the City of Chamber of Commerce, the Development Office, and as well as the Mayor Office to please come and support us. So I think like the community has grown extensively in here, where we're a very diversified group of people. We're all part of Helotes, where we spread the arms right to left, front to back. So I really want to unite together. We come here to thrive together and help the economy of Helotes to grow. And I think like we being part of the community, you got to know us, who we are, where we are from, what diversified purifications that we're bringing into the community. So that helps us to be united and to grow our country together and be part of this. So the event is going to be on the November the 16th. So we invite each and every one of you to come and support us. We're also inviting Bear County Sheriff and a couple of the state representatives that is being helped by few of our community leaders. So I think like everyone are taking effort to be to show the value of Helotes. It's what we call as the real hill country feel of unity. So please come and support us. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Do we have anybody else signed up?
No, sir.
So you guys are welcome to stay. You don't have to. I leave that up. I leave that up to you guys. We won't be offended because I don't want to keep you here on the listening to stuff that may or may not be of interest to you, but that's your call.
Thank you.
Everyone takes advantage of that opportunity, let me tell you. Okay. So we're going to move on to the next item on the agenda. So that's our consent agenda items. We've got 4 through 7. Does any council members have any questions or issues? Do you want to pull any of these out for individual consideration? Okay. Okay, good. So therefore, I'm looking for a motion and a second to approve consent agenda items 4 through 7. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Mr. Cato, Councilman Cato. Do I have a second?
Second.
Sones. All those in favor of approval, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. So the motion passes. So we're going to go on to the mayor's report. I can tell you, I learned a lot today, cramming for today's meeting. Specifically, something that the mayor had here called City of Helotes just won recognition. So it's a certified Texas Scenic City. We won the bronze category. And so I was talking with Corey today, and it was really eye-opening for me. So I actually got something to present to you, and I'll call you guys up here in a second. But there's a nonprofit organization in Texas, and it's called Scenic Texas. And it's the only non-Texas profit organization dedicated to preservation and enhancement of our state's visual environment, which is pretty cool. So the mission of their certification program is to support and recognize Texas municipalities that implement high-quality scenic standards for public spaces. The Scenic City Certification Program provides a proven, highly regarded tool to Texas cities for assessment, evaluation, and recognition of infrastructure. Which, when I read all that, I thought, wow, that's very cool. So as I learned more about this, there's several categories how cities are rated. And so platinum is the top category, and then obviously silver, and then bronze. And then I'm going to call the fourth one as honorable mention. I'm not sure if that's what Corey told me, but that's what I'm going to say. And then I think category 5 is don't apply again, right? So we finished bronze, and that was a lot of hard work with the folks in Public Works. They spent a lot of time and effort, and a lot of it, here's kind of what it focuses on. So they go in and they look at what are we doing in the city. They evaluate, assess how we're doing. They look at streetscape enhancement, park trails and open space, lighting standards, design integrity, landscaping, sign control. It goes on and on and on. And so they went through our ordinances to validate, what are we doing and how well we're doing it, and also how well are we complying. And so we have been designated a bronze city, and it actually, if you go to the website, we're on there. It's real, and which is very cool. So why is that important? Here's some takeaways from that. This is from my perspective. One, it's a recognition for Helotes, right? Which is always a good thing, right? We can actually brag. We're a bronze city when it comes to being a nice city to come visit and look at. These guys now in public works get training opportunities at no cost. They can do stuff related to arborists, specialized training on specific type of environmental planning, landscaping, and things like that we didn't have access to before. Being a bronze member, we also now have access to free trees. I don't know the specifics on how many trees and what kind of trees, but that's a great opportunity that we didn't have before. And then I think the most important thing, and this is the kind of the military guy in me, we always looked at ourselves and evaluated ourselves to see if we were meeting standards. And so the fact that they were essentially going in and evaluating how we're doing, they found out that, hey, there's some opportunities for us to improve in certain areas, which is very cool. They found some gaps and things that we can tighten up and fix. So I didn't know there was an actual presentation, Corey, so I'm glad you're here. Have your whole team come up and we can get a photo. It's actually a real award. Yeah, I like it.
Let's even it out, Jonathan. Can I have you guys shift right to the right, just as the lights?
You're right.
My right, your left, yes. Perfect. Okay, on 3. 1, 2, 3. Taking another one for good measure. 3. 1, 2, 3.
Cheers. Your teams. Congratulations. Okay. Give me a second. Okay. So for the rest of the mayor's report, Mayor Whitehead had something here about TxDOT. I think, as we all know, it's pretty much done. I see some cones in front of KFC. It looks like they cleaned up the rock pile they had left over there by Sonic Restaurant near Helotes Crossing. And I think there might be 1 or 2 more signs that still have to be in place. There still looks like some temporary signs, but for the most part, it's done. And I'm not sure if this will continue to stay on the mayor's report, because I really do think we're to the end of this. Upcoming city events. So we just had the Veterans Day concert and celebration this past Saturday at the fire department. So Mayor Whitehead participated, and so did the city administrator, the interim city administrator, Henry. And actually, I heard you played a pretty big role in that process, which is awesome. I heard it was very, I did some of this last year and there wasn't very many people there. And this year I was told it's 250 to 300 people, that it was a big hit. And the Helotes area band did another fantastic job. So taking care of our vets and recognizing our vets is important. The rest of it is the usual stuff. A lot of stuff happening. We have lighting of the lights on Friday, December 6th from 6 to 7:30 p.m. First responders breakfast with Santa on Saturday, December 14th from 9 through 11 a.m., which I understand there's a limit to how many people can participate. So I think there's tickets involved. So you need to get your reservations, your tickets as soon as possible.
Sir. Just to reiterate, those tickets and signups are for our residents and those within our ETJ, not those that are disassociated with the city of Helotes.
Thank you for that clarification. Okay. And then lastly, Christmas parade, Saturday, December 14th from 7:30 to 8 p.m. So there's a lot of stuff going on here. And just so everybody knows, everybody in the city staff, from fire to police, the public works, our public affairs, our marketing folks, they're all going to be super busy making these events wonderful for the residents of Helotes. So just keep that in mind. Please attend, enjoy it, but also be thankful for the folks that are working so hard to make them happen. Okay. I think that's it for mayor's report. Items for individual consideration. So these next two items will not require a motion. They're just for discussion. And so I'm going to go ahead and call up Justin. I think Justin is really kind of the POC for those. I know a little bit of background for number 9 is, so we as a council had made a decision to move away from pet licensing and we wanted to go to chips. And so that was going to drive some changes in the ordinance. And so I think it was you, Justin. I don't know if you had any other assistance or help, but it's my understanding that you went into chapter 14 in our ordinances, which deals with animals. And the intent was just to do a couple things, right? And then once you were in there, you realize, oh, there's some stuff that's a little dated. The wording is a little complicated. And so that's what's driving a lot more recommended changes to this chapter, correct?
Yes. So Corey, John, and myself helped. We started with just trying to do the update to microchips. And as we went through it, we're just like, we should fix all the little problems that are out it and get it all sorted rather than come back, bug y'all 4 or 5 times with a bunch of different changes.
So this is just discussion. So I'm going to start from the right and work to the left. Like we've done in the past, let's give Justin and staff clear guidance if there's something we want to see changed or we have a problem with, so they can fix it. And the intent is for them to come back at the next meeting, correct, with a final product, or would we read it a second time?
There'll be a second reading, sir. And also just by way of information administratively, as you're looking at item number 9, the next to the last line, it starts with the word licenses. It says licenses add requirements for microchipping, and it says remove, but that word is to be amending, not remove, commercial animal establishment permits.
So I'm gonna start with you, Jen.
I just appreciate all the hard work because this is long overdue. As a pet owner, I always thought this didn't make sense how the city did it. So I'm glad that we're making these changes. Are there commercial animal establishments that are coming into Helotes, or what was the need? Or
So the commercial animal establishments, that actually got put into ordinance in 2009. We have 5 current ones in the city right now. This is just really an update to it. Try to bring it up to like modern standards and how the state law currently reads for like spacing requirements, like primary enclosures of animals, things like that. We did change the fee schedule for it because we thought the fee schedule was actually extremely high because it was based off the food permit fees. So we changed the fee schedule on that. It's down to $75. It's once a year. Those costs just go to cover development service and animal control for their expenditures doing it.
Thank you.
No, I think they've done a great job from what I've seen so far. I have no issues.
So I have nothing to add as well.
Just one little edit on page 2 of 22 at the bottom. I saw in your notes that you're going to like gender neutral language, and there's a his, her reference in the definition for owner. It's the bottom of page 2 of 22 of the document.
I know we updated everything to be gender neutral, but
Yeah, that was the only
But we can
Only
fix
what I
that.
saw.
That's not a big fix.
But everything else looked great. This is a ton of work. You guys did a great job.
Thank you.
So unless there's any other comments, you might as well just stay up there
Yep.
because you're affiliated with the next first reading, and that's item number 10, and that's the municipal fee schedule.
Yes.
Not a whole lot of changes required there, but you did have to move something around and then add a fee, correct? A permit fee?
Yeah, so, well, we're not adding a fee. The fee currently existed. We moved where it was
Moving it.
at and then how much it cost. So the commercial animal establishment permit was based on the food establishment permit. We broke those two apart. So now it's its own separate entity in the animal control line item section.
Mhm.
And then, of course, we changed the price from being based on the number of employees you have just to a set $75.
Okay. So we're going to start left and work right this time.
No comments.
And no comments from me either, Justin. Good work.
None.
Okay, thank you.
We let you off the hook easy. Okay. So we're going to move on to item number 11. So I'm looking for a motion and a second on agenda item number 11.
Oh, make a motion.
I'll second the motion as the chair, since just so you guys know, I'm filling in for Mayor White. I'm still a councilman, so I still have the ability to vote and make motions. It's just kind of awkward, but we're going to do that. So, so go ahead.
Okay, so the Bear Appraisal District has completed the nomination process, and I guess our action is to cast votes on the candidates as an eligible taxing unit.
So I will say how we did it last year. This happens every year at this same time. So there's more candidate. We basically last time somebody picked a candidate that they thought was well credentialed and would represent us well, based off of bio, and then everyone agreed and then we voted, and that individual got all 6 of the votes. So we voted for a name that's on there this year again. And the reason he's back on, his name is Mr. Gannon. And he's who we voted for last year. And the reason he's up for reelection again this year is because it looks like Bear County Appraisal District is reshuffling. State law is forcing them to go from like a three-year term or 2-year term to a 4-year term. So anyway, so that's why he's back on there. So so my recommendation, since I made the second motion, would be that I would want to vote for Mr. Gannon. Mr. Cato?
No issues.
No shoes.
Okay, so we're going to actually vote. So all those in favor of voting for candidate Mr. Gannon, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed, say nay. Okay, that was easy. All right. Item number 2, we're looking for a motion, a second on item, I'm sorry, 12. We're looking for a motion, a second on item number 12.
Motion.
I'll second. So, you know, I'm going to ask you to come up here, Chief. So this has to do with a Bear County multi-jurisdictional hazard mitigation plan. Really light reading, is 658 pages. And from what I understand, it's pretty much a formality in order for us to stay in compliance with FEMA, so that we can be covered during future
Correct.
incidents.
It's more so that the entire county, Bear County, qualifies for FEMA aid, which trickles to us in the event that we do have something. Now, the aid is not only post-disaster, but it's also pre-disaster or pre-incident funding for mitigation projects, stormwater and that sort of thing. So essentially what we're asking is just to re-up the same plan that council passed in 2017. FEMA requires that the plan's revised every 5 years. We went through the revision process in 2022, took us pretty much the whole year to complete for all 24 entities that are included in this document. And at the end of that process, that's all sent off to FEMA. FEMA sends it back with whatever adjustments need to be made. Then it gets sent to FEMA again. FEMA sends it back. And that takes place 2 or 3 times. That's normal. And then I think we have an attachment of the letter from FEMA on there with a little kind of explanation of where we're at this point. And it essentially, all of the participating entities in the document need to formally accept this through a resolution, or in the case of some of the entities, I think it's just like an MOU type thing for the ones that aren't municipalities. And once that's completed, it goes back to FEMA and we have our new plan in place. But for all intents and purposes, the plan is, outside of some phone numbers and addresses that have changed since 2017, the plan's the same as it was back then. I'll entertain any questions anybody has, because I know you guys all read it. Cover to cover.
Any issues, Jen? No. Okay.
Okay.
So it sounds like it's kind of a work in progress, right? It's like,
Well, it's at its completion point.
Right.
Once we adopt it, once all of the 24 entities adopt it, it goes back to FEMA and it gets the stamp of approval, and we're online for any future funding.
Okay. So all those in favor of approving item 12, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Agenda item 12 passes. Looking for a motion and a second on agenda item number 13.
Motion.
So Councilman Cato made the first motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Go ahead, Mr. Cato.
I have some questions. If Glenn, could you come up?
Oh, what? You know what, Sabrina, my bad.
Mhm.
Before we talk to Glenn, maybe I was going to turn it over to Henry and ask him to talk about the hotel tax revenue
Okay.
and how that whole thing works.
Certainly. Thank you, sir. So as it relates to the hotel tax, there's a 2-step process of consideration and approval. This part 1 is a must in the evaluation, and then part 2 has 9 categories that are associated. So what I'll do is I'll just give a quick commentary and really read a portion of this guidance. The first element, part 1 of the 2-part test, is this: every expenditure of hotel taxes must put heads in beds. And essentially this means that every funded project must attract overnight tourists to the city's hotel and motels, thus promoting the city's hotel industry. There's an example that's listed there, but part 2 talks about the 9 categories. And it says, once the project has cleared the first part of the test, it's time for, you guessed it, and literally that's what it says, the second part of the test. And so here it is: every expenditure of hotel taxes must also fit into one of the 9 statutory authorized categories And here are the 9 categories. Number 1 is convention and visitor centers. Number 2 is convention registration. Number 3 is advertising the city. Number 4 is promotion of the arts. 5 is historical restoration and preservation. 6 is sporting events in a county under 1 million in population. 7 is enhancing or upgrading existing sports facilities or sports fields only in certain cities. Number 8 is tourist transportation systems. And number 9 is signage directing the public to sites and attractions that are visited frequently by hotel guests in the city. And so in order to utilize those hotel taxes, so it must pass the 2-part test. And again, those items are listed there in addition to the heads and beds. I will point that advertising the city and promotion of the arts are 2 of the items that could be closely examined in this process. And so I think that when it comes to hotel tax, we really need to be careful about how we address those utilizations. So I yield.
Glenn, I have a few questions for you. So this proposal from Ken's, was it solicited or did they come to you?
They actually came to me after, so we did a project with them last April, I believe, that went over really well, brought out almost 300 people into Old Town. And that was just for a short spot. And then we also used the segment to promote market days. And we saw definitely an increase in traffic, even people saying that they saw us on TV coming out. So they reached out, trying to remember, probably 6 months ago or something, and wanted to explore other opportunities for promoting Helotes. And so to me, one of the biggest items that even the EDC was trying to do is promote city events. So we figured if we had a reoccurring segment where we could promote what's happening here in Helotes, that would be good. We also have used the hotel occupancy tax before for a similar production through a Quarter Moon production company doing Yellow, Texas. In that one as well, all the businesses that participated in it saw an increase in traffic.
Okay. So why is the EDC requesting $12,000 from the city to pay for this?
So just to fall in line with the other 2 times we've done large scale promotion or advertising for the city, we've split the cost with the city.
So, but recently you reduced the amount of money that you're giving to the city to promote our events and tourism by $15,000. And now you're asking us to spend $12,000. I was at the meeting when this was presented by the sales team at Ken's, and in that meeting, the board approved over $93,000 of your marketing budget, which I believe is $95,000, between an agreement with a vendor for marketing services, another proposal from a consultant that also proposed paid social media ads, video, blog content, a lot of similar services that Ken's is also proposing. And so my other concern is, you were 1 month into your fiscal year and the board spent almost its entire budget, not taking into account that you're going to have other marketing initiatives that come up throughout the year. And are you going to come to the city? Is the expectation that in order to afford all of this, the city's going to have to use part of its budget?
Not at all. And then I want to say the last board meeting, I believe it was somewhere around 80,000 out of the 95 that was allocated. But based on conversations that we've had both with mayor and legal counsel, we are going to go back and reissue likely an RFP for marketing services. So that's going to be reconsidered
Okay,
at our next meeting.
okay. Would that be presented to us with a similar request to cover 50% of the cost?
No, not at all.
Okay. Okay.
We don't have any plans to come back for any additional funding opportunities for marketing.
Okay.
So, so Glenn, so I know we did the YOLO thing 2 years in a row.
Mhm.
But the marketing, I think the reason why people felt comfortable taking, I want to say risk, interpreting it the way they did is because the marketing was focused differently. And correct me if I'm wrong, that's a statewide. So YOLO is a statewide way to market Helotes. So people could be
Absolutely.
traveling from, Dallas down here, right? So there was
Correct.
more of a probability, a chance of they're staying at Airbnbs, that they would be putting heads in beds in that capacity. The Ken's 5 thing, I like that idea. It's very locally focused. So those are really day trippers, right?
Do you have the map of their target? So, I mean, it is when you first think of Ken's 5, you might just think hello to San Antonio area, but that is their broadcast area right there. So it is a very broad market.
So those,
All of that highlighted area.
yeah, I can't. I'm in a blind spot.
Yeah, if you want to.
Actually, can I?
Yes, please.
Yeah, so.
Can you state your name?
My name is Brooke Blanco. I'm with Kins 5.
Okay.
I'm one of the local sales managers. And so the blue area is our primary viewing area. This is a TV coverage map. So for our signal or anybody that might be watching on YouTube TV live. And then the green is also our coverage area. It's just outside the metro. And when you get into the orange is where there might be a little bit of overlap on the San Marcos, but that's primarily Austin and then down to Victoria and Laredo. But then also it was earlier in the presentation, there are some digital elements and that targeting can be different. It could be outside of that same area. The goal is to have a little bit of frequency, but we could also target certain, if there's a certain area that y'all would prefer, that on the digital side, we have a little bit more control of that. Whereas on the Ken side, it is the signal.
So going back to that map, so you're still really talking about Central Texas though, right? You're not talking like Panhandle,
No,
Corpus or anything like that?
No,
Okay.
it is, that is the counties, but some of it is a pretty good driving distance and could require an overnight stay.
Okay. I like I like the product that you would provide to the EDC and to the city. I think I've never doubted that part of it. It was the hot tax, which is concerns me a lot. So the way this ordinance is, or the way this ordinance, the way this agenda item is written, it's kind of it's really two requirements, but we merged them together. So there's a piece that I know I'm uncomfortable with, and I don't want to approve that. Your piece, though, the broadcast agreement, the 6-month agreement to actually provide all these marketing services, I'm 100% for. I'm very uncomfortable though using the city funding. So in this way. So that's where I'm coming from on this particular issue. Now, I didn't make the motions, and I can offer it up to my colleagues who did make the motion, that if you were willing to maybe consider modifying your motions to split this up, to say, I approve get the wording. This is always hard. So we approve the EDC and Ken's 5 to enter in a broadcast media agreement to promote tourism, blah, 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 for $24,000. But we disapprove using the hot 50% to pay for 50% of that $24,000. Would you guys be willing to entertain a change like that? And Frank, help me. This gets all discombobulated because of the way this was all carved together. is that something we could do instead? Because if we say no to the entire thing, this has to go all the way back to the EDC, and it delays something that I think most of us are supportive of. If we can pull off the piece that we're not comfortable with, that's what I would offer up to the two council members that made the motion.
And Frank, we do have an EDC meeting next week. So if it was okay to split it up, I could get it on the next agenda that we post tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean,
So, but I can't make that decision. I didn't make the motion. Councilmember, these two folks right here did it. So, would you be willing to entertain that change?
That's fine.
Yeah. Okay. How do we word that again?
so as part of the discussion, are you going to provide, since hot funds have not been used, are you going to provide alternative funding? Or
No.
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 So then only 50%.
What I'm advocating for is approving them to have an agreement for, put the full cost back on them, and they would pay the full.
Okay, I see
We're
what you're
not. So we would be disapproving.
So you would be approving the contract, but sending it back to EDC for their funding.
Correct.
Okay.
That's what I'm advocating. And if you're willing to do that, then you guys have to change your motion.
So my suggestion is for those motions to be withdrawn and then a new motion be made.
Okay.
Okay, withdrawn.
So,
So he's withdrawn his second,
Withdrawn.
okay.
but now you're seeking a new motion.
So, okay. So looking for a new motion on agenda item number 14, 13, sorry.
Make a motion.
Second.
Okay.
And just to clarify, that motion is to approve the contract, however, sending it back to EDC for funding.
Okay.
If I may, I think it might be fair to read down to the dollar amount and stop. If that's what you all are talking about,
Yes.
Right.
clarity.
Okay. All right. So
I think they need to be clear that the city's not funding it and it's being sent to the EDC for funding. You're approving the contract contingent on EDC funding the full amount.
okay. So just read through.
Yeah.
Okay. Make a motion to take action on a resolution of the city council authorizing the City of Helotes Economic Development Corporation and KINS 5 to enter into a broadcast media agreement to promote tourism and events in the city of Helotes for a duration of 6 months at a contract amount of $24,000, utilizing the HEDC FYE 2025 budget to fund 100% of the contract amount.
Yes.
Period.
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 Perfect.
I second.
Okay. Oh, this is always fun. Robert rules. Gotta love them. Okay. So all those in favor of approving item number 13, say aye. Aye. All those opposed, say nay. Thank you, council. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. All right. We're going to go to item 14, which is on the agenda, has been pulled. The member has withdrawn his nomination. So we're going to move on to the staff report, item number 15. And the executive director of the EDC, Glenn Goolsby, is going to give us a summary, correct? I hope a summary, not you provided an awesome 7 pages of very detailed information.
I could entertain just questions if you want, or if you want me to go through.
That's even better. I just want to say thank you for that level of detail that we can actually look at. We don't have to talk that here in ad nauseum about it. But it's very useful for us historically when we move on to future agenda items. So,
And we're having continuing discussions on how to improve it. So
yeah,
any feedback is great.
I will say I was surprised to see Vulcan was our number 10 sales tax provider in the city of Helotes. I thought Vulcan was in Bear County.
So even out of the top 20, only 4 businesses are online. The 16 of them are actually local brick and mortar here in Helotes. So I think that's pretty impressive.
Okay. Oh, it's interesting. So does council have any questions for Mr. Goolsby? We're letting you off the hook too easy.
Okay, well, I just want to point
Is
out
there
one
something
thing.
you want to share? The big rock?
It's
Ask
not.
questions. I'm good at that.
It-
I can do it.
Hey, I'm always open. I do want to provide an update because in the report on the visitor center, when this was drafted, we hadn't even moved into the space yet.
Mhm.
So in this next quarter, you're going to get the full report. But I want to highlight we're at 60% leased right now.
Mm.
So the goal was to be at 70% by the end of fiscal year 2025. We're already at 60. So we're the revenue stream coming in is almost $2,500 a month right now. So that
Okay. No, that's good. That's great news. All right. Thank you, Glenn. I appreciate it.
thank you.
Okay. Now we are going to go into closed session at 7:45. We'll be talking about, well, it says right here, consultation with city attorney seeking advice on IRS obligations, consultations with city attorney and personal matters related to the duties of the city administrator, and then deliberation regarding economic development negotiations to discuss financial or other incentive information from a commercial prospect that wishes to locate, stay, or expand in the city. So we're going to go break at this time and have a discussion. No decisions will be made, and then we'll be back to open up session and then adjourn. I have to hit this thing again? Everyone here?
Mhm.
We're good, Mayor Pro Tem.
Okay, we're all back from closed session, so we're back into open session as of 8:35. So no decisions were made during closed session, this discussion. So at this point, I'm going to adjourn the meeting, today's meeting.